All right, ready to dive deep.
Let's do it.
Today, we're talking muscles.
Absolutely one of my favorite topics.
Yeah, I'm excited to learn more. We've got a ton of research here, like a whole stack.
Should be interesting to see what we can pull out.
Definitely. But I think we're going to walk away feeling like muscle experts by the end of this.
I think you're right, and I think anyone listening will too.
So to kick things off, let's talk types of muscle, right? I know there are a few.
Yeah, we got the big three: skeletal, smooth, and cardiac.
Okay, 3. Like a muscle party in there.
Right.
I know today we're mostly focusing on skeletal muscle, though, right?
Yeah, skeletal muscles.
But can you give us a quick rundown on what the other two do, just for context?
Sure. So cardiac muscle, that's the heart.
Oh, right.
That's what keeps your heart pumping 24/7.
The ultimate endurance athlete.
Yeah, exactly. Non-stop, all day, every day.
Wow, that's incredible.
And then you have smooth muscle, and that's found lining a lot of your organs.
Makes sense.
Your stomach, your intestines, your blood vessels.
Really?
Yeah, it helps control things like digestion and blood pressure.
Huh. So it's kind of working behind the scenes.
Yeah, pretty.
Keeping everything running.
Exactly. So both cardiac and smooth muscle, they're super important.
Of course.
But for like sports performance, what we're really interested in today,
Yeah.
skeletal muscle is definitely the star of the show.
Makes sense. So skeletal muscle, that's the one that we can control, right?
Yes, exactly. You decide to move your arm.
Mm-hmm.
That's skeletal muscle doing its thing.
All right, so let's talk about some of those skeletal muscles, like the major ones.
Oh, yeah, there's a lot of them, but we can hit some of the highlights.
Yeah, let's do a quick roll call.
Okay, so how about the deltoids?
The deltoid, okay.
Those are your shoulder muscles.
Right.
Every time you throw a ball, lift something over your head, you're using your deltoids.
Huh. So every time I reach for something on a high shelf, I'm engaging my deltoids.
You got it.
That's pretty cool. What about the biceps and triceps?
Oh, yeah, the classic duo, right?
Yeah, those are like the arm muscles that everyone knows, I think.
For sure. Biceps on the front, triceps on the back. They work together.
So like bend and straighten the arm.
Right, exactly.
Okay, that makes sense. What about legs? There must be a ton of muscles in our legs.
Right, so many. But we've got the quads and hamstrings.
Ah, the quads and hamstrings, okay.
Those are the powerhouses for running and jumping.
So when I'm like sprinting for the bus.
You better believe your quads and hamstrings are firing.
All right, so I always get those mixed up, quads and hamstrings. Is there an easy way to remember which is which?
Sure, so think quads are at the front, like quad kind of sounds like front.
Okay, that kind of works.
Right, and then your hamstrings are on the back of your thigh.
Okay, that's a good tip. Now I won't forget.
Awesome.
So we talked arms, we talked legs. What about all those core muscles? Everyone's always talking about core strength.
Ah, yes, the core. It's super important.
But what even is the core, really?
So we're talking about your abs and your obliques.
Okay.
They work together to keep your trunk stable, transfer power between your upper and lower body.
So like a strong core helps you with all kinds of movements.
Exactly. It's like the foundation.
That makes sense. So it's not just about six-pack abs.
No, not at all. It's about function.
Okay, good to know. Are there any other important muscles that, maybe don't get as much attention?
Oh, yeah, tons. But a couple that come to mind are the soleus and tibialis anterior.
The what?
Soleus and tibialis anterior.
Okay, I've definitely never heard of those.
Right, they're kind of the unsung heroes.
Oh, unsung heroes, okay.
So the soleus is a muscle in your calf.
Okay.
It helps you stand on your tiptoes, like when you do calf raises.
Right.
And the tibialis anterior is on the front of your shin.
Huh, interesting.
It lets you lift your foot when you walk or run.
So basically, we wouldn't be able to do much without them.
Exactly.
It's amazing how many muscles we have and how they all work together.
It's a complex system, but it's pretty amazing.
It really is. So let's talk about how they work together, because it can't all be just one muscle doing one thing.
Yeah.
I've heard the term antagonistic pairs.
Oh, yeah. That's a key concept.
What's that all about?
So basically, muscles work in teams.
Okay.
For every muscle that contracts to create a movement, there's another muscle that relaxes to allow that movement.
So it's like a push and pull.
Yeah, kind of. We call the muscle that contracts the agonist.
Agonist, all right.
And the muscle that relaxes is the antagonist.
Antagonist, got it.
They work together to create smooth, controlled movement.
Can you give us an example?
Sure. Let's think about a bicep curl again.
Okay, yeah, that's a good one.
So when you curl the weight up, your bicep is the agonist. It's contracting.
Right.
And at the same time, your tricep, which is on the back of your arm, is the antagonist.
So it relaxes to let the bicep do its thing.
Exactly. Then when you lower the weight, they switch roles.
Oh, so it's like a constant conversation between muscles.
You got it.
That's amazing. So it's not just a two-muscle thing, right?
Well, not always. You also have synergists, which are muscles that help the prime movers, and fixators, which stabilize the joints involved in the movement.
So it's a whole team effort.
Yeah, a very coordinated one.
Okay, so muscles are team players. Now let's talk about the different ways they contract.
Right.
I know they're like isometric, concentric, and eccentric. I always get them mixed up, though.
It can be confusing.
What's the difference?
Well, think of it like this. Isometric is when the muscle is working, but it's not changing length.
Okay.
Like holding a plank.
Oh, right.
Your muscles are engaged, but they're not shortening or lengthening.
Okay, that makes sense.
Then you have concentric.
Concentric, all right.
That's when the muscle shortens as it contracts.
So like the lifting part of a bicep curl.
Exactly. And then eccentric is the opposite. The muscle lengthens as it contracts.
So like lowering the weight slowly.
Exactly. You're controlling the movement.
Okay, so it's not just about lifting the weight, it's about controlling it on the way down, too.
Exactly.
That's probably why I'm always sore the next day.
It could be. Eccentric contractions actually cause those tiny micro tears in your muscle fibers.
Wait, tears?
Yeah, tiny ones. Don't worry, it's a good thing.
How are tears a good thing?
Well, when your body repairs those micro tears,
Yeah.
it rebuilds the muscle fibers stronger and thicker.
So it's like breaking down a wall to build a stronger one.
You got it. So no pain, no gain has some truth to it.
Right. Okay, that makes a lot more sense now.
Yeah.
All right, so muscle fiber types.
Ah, yes. Another important topic.
There are different types, right? But it always gets jumbled in my brain.
Don't worry, it's a lot to keep track of.
Can you remind me, what are they and what are the differences?
Okay, so you've got type I, type 3A, and type I.
Okay, 3 types.
Each one's got its own specialty.
Okay.
So type I fibers, those are the slow twitch fibers.
Twitch, okay.
They're fatigue resistant.
So they can keep going for a long time.
Exactly. They love oxygen. They're great for endurance activities like marathon running.
Marathon runners, okay.
Then you have type Cia. Those are fast twitch, but they're also moderately fatigue resistant.
So kind of a hybrid.
Yeah, good mix. They're like 400-meter sprints.
Right, so something in between.
Yeah. And then you have type Gum. These are your super fast twitch fibers.
Super fast twitch, wow.
Yeah, they're powerful. They generate explosive force, but they fatigue quickly.
So like weightlifting or sprinting.
Exactly.
Okay, so it's like having a diesel engine, a hybrid engine, and a turbocharged engine all in one body.
I like that analogy. And get this.
Yeah.
Every muscle in your body contains a mix of these fiber types.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but the proportions vary depending on genetics and what you do.
So like marathon runners probably have more of those slow twitch type I fibers.
Exactly. And weightlifters, more type Is.
Wow. So our muscles are kind of specialized.
In a way, yes.
That's really cool. And you mentioned that training can change those proportions a little.
Yeah, definitely. If you do a lot of endurance training, some of your type I fibers might start acting more like type I.
Oh, wow. So they become more efficient at using oxygen.
Exactly.
That's amazing. Our muscles are so adaptable.
It's really incredible.
It really is. So no matter the type, all muscle fibers follow this thing called the all or none law, right?
Yes, that's right.
What is that?
It means that a muscle fiber either contracts completely or not at all. There's no half effort.
Really, it's like a light switch.
Exactly. It's either on or off.
So if I lift a feather or I lift a heavy dumbbell, the same muscle fibers are being activated?
Well, some of the same.
But just more of them are firing for the heavier weight.
Precisely. It's like recruiting more workers for a bigger job.
Okay, that makes sense. So now let's talk about what happens to our muscles when we actually work out.
Sure, there are a lot of changes.
I've always been fascinated by that pumped feeling after a workout. What causes that?
So that's increased blood flow to your muscles.
Oh.
It's delivering oxygen and nutrients to help you power through and recover.
Interesting.
And your muscles are also heating up, which makes them more pliable.
Oh, that's why stretching feels so good after a workout.
Exactly. You want those muscles nice and warm.
Makes sense. What about that burning sensation you get sometimes?
Oh, yeah, that's lactate buildup.
Lactate buildup, is that a bad thing?
Not necessarily. It's a byproduct of anaerobic metabolism.
Okay.
It means your muscles are working hard.
So it's a good sign, in a way.
All right. But it can lead to fatigue, which is that burning feeling you're talking about.
Gotcha. So what about those micro tears we talked about earlier? Do they happen every time we work out?
They're especially common with resistance training.
So like lifting weights?
Exactly. Those micro tears are key for muscle growth.
Yeah, we talked about that.
When your body repairs them, it makes the muscle fibers stronger and thicker.
So it's like you break it down to build it back up, but better.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
And it's not just about muscle size either, right?
No, there are a ton of adaptations that happen.
Like what?
Your tendons get stronger, so you're less prone to injury.
That's good.
Your muscles get better at storing glycogen.
Glycogen, that's their fuel, right?
Yep. And you develop more mitochondria, which are the powerhouses of your cells.
So more energy.
Exactly.
Wow, our muscles are constantly evolving. It's amazing.
They're always trying to adapt to what you throw at them.
So what about aging? I've heard we lose muscle mass as we get older.
Yeah, it's true. It's called sarcopenia.
Sarcopenia, right?
It's a natural part of aging, but the good news is...
There's good news.
Yes, resistance training and staying active can slow it down.
Oh, that's great. So use it or lose it applies to muscles too.
Absolutely.
Speaking of losing it, what about muscle cramps? What causes those?
A few things can cause muscle cramps. Dehydration, fatigue, electrolyte imbalances, even poor circulation.
So they can be caused by a lot of things.
Right. But staying hydrated and keeping your electrolytes balanced can help.
Especially during and after a workout, I imagine.
Exactly.
It's amazing how all these things are connected, like remembering that our quads are in front can help us understand how they work during a squat.
Exactly.
Or knowing about fiber types can help us plan our workout.
Absolutely.
So understanding how our muscles work can really empower us.
It can make you a better athlete, help you avoid injuries.
And reach our fitness goals.
For sure.
It's like having a user's manual for your body. Any final words of wisdom before we wrap up?
Keep learning, keep moving, and remember, your body is capable of some pretty amazing things. You got this.
I like that.
Huh.
All right, that's it for our deep dive into muscles. Thanks for listening, and we'll catch you next time.
See you then.